So yeah, thank you all for joining. This is the Edgy Hustle Club, and today we're focusing on content creators, whether it's books, music, what have you. If you know them, bring them into this room because we want to uplift our creatives, especially in the education space. And we're really, as you might have ascertained from that beautiful recording just now, we're talking about Black history, right? And focusing and uplifting Black history in culture, right? So, real quick, I pinned the link at the top for the Edu Hustle Club, the Facebook group, which is actually a community of educators that has surpassed 900 members. There's a lot of practical information and resources in there. So, the overall goal, if anybody's not familiar with Edu Hustle, is to help educators maximize their time, talents, and earning potential. And it's an amazing thing. A lot of stuff is starting to move. I actually just got a message earlier today. Somebody has moved on to the next phase in their application process for an education technology job that they're really going for. And that was based on some of the information that I shared in a webinar that I did recently. So if you have any aspirations on earning additional income, or just using your creativity, or even changing kind of your career path in education, tap into the Edge Hustle Facebook group. It's a great community that we're building, consistently. And with that, if you have any content yourself that you want to share, I did turn the replays on because I know it's during the workday, and people will come back and check out the replay. So if you have any information or have any resources, even if you're selling things, for sure, if you want to advertise, you can come up to the stage, and you can send me any links in the back channel. I'll post it for you. It's no problem at all. So if you create content, definitely share, and I will certainly be sharing some of the resources and information that I have available as well. But we can go ahead and get started. First of all, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Cedric. I am actually a chemist turned educator. I went to an HBCU, Virginia State University, where I got my bachelor's degree, and then actually after working in chemical industry for a little bit, made the shift into education. Started teaching third grade math in Washington D.C. Worked my way up into being a school administrator, assistant principal in elementary school, and I now work in ed tech. So I get to work remotely. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Really proud of that. You see my son in my picture, and I've actually started my own brand outside of Edu Hustle, which is called Ancient Baby Brand, which is focusing on really supporting the community, supporting families. For us in particular, in the areas of education, self-care, and lifestyle, with an array of products, ultimately with the goal of supporting the educational efforts and progression of our youth and our children by offering scholarships through any purchases or anything that comes through the brand. A portion of it goes directly to scholarships. There's currently one scholarship available um, through the brand, which is a STEM-based scholarship. So if you know any Black high school students who are graduating this year and going into STEM, check out the link in my bio, the scholarships tab on the website. It's available, so anybody can apply to it. It's a simple essay scholarship. But if anybody wants to come up, feel free. Okay, awesome. Seeing a few people come in. All right, so y'all continue to keep going forward. So a couple of things, just considering like the premise and kind of the purpose of what we're doing here, and what's happening with Edu Hustle is that what I found, especially working, in the school district, is that the content itself was not at all any type of reflection for the students that I was teaching. So for me, what I started to think about was, well, how can I incorporate that? How can we actually tie in, number one, representation, so that our kids see themselves? Because I think in terms of education and learning, children, they need mirrors and windows, right? Mirrors being reverse images directly of them seeing themselves, but then also windows, right? We have to see out into the world. But we also know that for our community, our students, right, our children, more often than not, they only see windows, right? They don't see the mirrors. So we need to uplift that and figure out, and emphasize the people who are creating those windows for our children, right? And that's kind of something that I'm taking under, in my own passion. I create content, primarily math content and financial literacy, called Melanated Mathematics, which is math content in the context of Black history and culture. And what that looks like is pretty much taking that same kind of math content that you would see in a school or in a lot of the curriculum today, but flipping it on its head and making it look like our kids, and also putting Black history directly into it, right? So one example of that is, in most cases, students in, we'll say third grade, they start to learn multiplication, right? Their multiplication facts, word problems, whatever. But for us, I figured, why not take something like the immortal cancer cells of Henrietta Lacks, right? And thinking about the idea that cancer cells multiply, right? They replicate over time, and put that into the content. So creating problems based on historical context where we're actually digging deeper into our history, and then also giving our kids representation, because with the content that I use, that I create and offer, I also commission Black artists to do all of the imagery, right? So it's for us, by us, right? And you have that kind of atmosphere. And I'll pin it at the top so you all can take a look at it whenever you get a chance, and just take see what's available. And on the financial literacy standpoint, done the same thing. The emphasis with financial literacy there is going to be that there are actual characters. Jehan, I just got your message in the back channel. There are actual characters that were commissioned by a brother actually that I went to school with. He was I went to elementary school with this brother, and for the financial literacy emphasis, each of the characters within Melanated Mathematics has a financial area of expertise, and it basically walks students through three different components right now that are available. The first one is managing money. The second is real estate, and the third is the stock market. So yes, we're teaching kids as young as 5 or 6 years old, some of the basics of what the stock market actually means and how it works. And again, doing that through a Black history lens. And you might ask, well, what does that look like, right? How do you teach financial literacy from a Black history perspective? Well, you look at who's doing the work, right? Who can we uplift in those communities, right? And in those environments. There are a lot of folks, for example, if anybody's familiar with Harlem, New York, right? The Harlem, New York that we know today wasn't always what it is, right? It was actually a gentleman, and I'll let y'all look it up. But it was a a Black real estate agent, who basically was trying to get Black people better housing, in which case he was able to get a building in Harlem and then move folks in, right, and give them, adequate housing, because before that, the living conditions were substandard, right? So to basically support his people, this brother said, I have this background, I have this expertise, I'm going to get this this setup and move you all in. And then boom, we have the explosion. And then going through the 20s, right, you have the Harlem Renaissance and so on and so forth. And now Harlem is what it is. But teaching our kids that, but then also infusing the idea of, hey, have you ever thought about being a real estate agent? That's a great career to go into, right? That's another pathway. But then building on that and getting all the way up into the point of talking about ownership of property, and then ultimately becoming a landlord, right? And receiving rent, right? Owning a property, and then letting that actually pay, right, for itself, but then being able to recoup the money. So teaching the kids that. Another thing that's also available, from kind of the same perspective, is a full set of financial flashcards that I just recently launched. I think it's maybe 68 terms, financial terms, but that also give a little bit of context, right? And it's in kid-friendly language as well, and that also has all the characters appearing on it. So the idea here is that we need to really start infusing and implementing, and planting these seeds early, right? Because regardless of anything, people might say, well, how do you do the financial thing with 5 or 6 year olds? We don't give our kids enough credit. They understand more than we recognize, and I'm saying that as a father as well, because my son is not even 2 years old, but he understands, right? he comprehends what's going on, and they basically, you know, in terms of kids, they mirror, right, and model what we do, right? They mimic it. So with that being said, why not start to put that stuff out early, right? Because regardless of anything, these financial terms do not change, right? Credit is credit. It has the same definition whether you're 5 or you're 55. So why not start exposing our kids to that stuff early on, right? And giving them the tools that they're going to have to use later on in life anyway. Because, again, they're not going to get it in school, right? I did not learn anything about doing taxes until I actually had to do taxes, right? When I got my first job. That's a problem. So the way that I'm looking at things is this. I not only want to create content or provide information or resources or, you know, legacy for my own son and for my own children and for my own grandchildren. I think that it's bigger than that, right? So the emphasis is really thinking about how can this really expand to the community, right? I was once asked, what's your why? And initially my why in my brain was, oh, it's my son, right? It's my family. That's not what it is. Like, my why is the black child who's born on the day that I die. What do I leave for them? And this is what it's all about, right? So these things are available. You can definitely check out the links at the top. Again, Michelle, thanks for coming in. We're just talking about educational content, and kind of really focusing and centering, since it's Black History Month, thinking about Black history, Black culture. And if you are a content creator, if you know anybody who creates content, especially aligned to representation for our children and for our community, please ping them in or come up yourself, and you can share your link if you have anything available, and we'll definitely tap in with it. The replays are on, so if I know a lot of people are, you know, currently still working, so they can't, you know, tap in really right now, but the replays are on, so they'll be able to get it later. And I'm just going through sharing. This is probably going to be a really quick room. I figured I would just jump on because I meant to do this yesterday, but there was actually the job fair yesterday, so I didn't want to coincide with that at all. I wanted people to get all the information that they could there, and the resources. So shout out to the Black Think Tank for what they were doing there, my brother Richard also. So yeah, so continuing going forward, I was just talking about melanated mathematics. One other thing that I wanted to mention too that is not necessarily uh, centered in our community, but I think it's overlooked often. And I'll share the link again. And what that link, or that, excuse me, that resource for me is talking about, again, going back into kind of like the financial aspect of things. I shared a free resource on my site. If you go to the free resources tab, there are two things in there. The first is how to self-publish an ebook for free, and on a free platform. And then the second one is titled "Make Your Child a Millionaire." And what that emphasizes is basically being able to walk through. It's a video walkthrough rather of setting up a custodial stock account for a child. And I speak to that, you know, from that lens, mainly because, again, being a father, I want to give my son as much exposure and as much of a head start in life as I can, right? I want him to be well beyond where it was that I started, you know, and that's no slight to my parents, my family, but with this information, right, and the continued growth, it would be, number one, selfish of me not to pass it on, but then it would just be, you know, completely disingenuous to not then expand and push it out to the rest of the community. So that's available there, where you can set up a custodial stock account. It's really simple. I do step-by-step walkthrough. Again, it's free. And with the holidays, you know, just passed a couple months ago, I was really pushing it because with us buying our kids toys and games and things like that, you know, for gifts and all that, everything that, you know, we were doing, which is fine. I'm not against that. But at the same time, I think that there could be some emphasis on the idea of ownership. So, for example, if you buy your child a toy, right? What company created that, right? Are they publicly traded? Can you buy a share of stock in that company? So then your child is essentially playing with something that they have a partial ownership in, right? And that's what that video is going to show. Because my thought process is, instead of my son waiting until he's 18, 20, or what have you, and beginning to work, right, and then starting to stash away money for his retirement, then why don't I start doing that right now, so that when he gets to that age, right, 21 years old, when he takes over the account and he has all those funds, not only will he have had the financial literacy from me teaching him early on, right, using things like the melanated mathematics content and just my insight, but then he'll also be able to then take that information, take those resources, and build them, right, and to make it even greater. Because again, once with that custodial account, once they turn of age, like, you don't have control of it anymore, right? They assume the role, so they can essentially take the money and do whatever they want with it, which could be a scary thing. So sharing that. Hey, Antonietta, if you know anybody who creates content, educational content, and we're really emphasizing and lifting up, Black history, since we are in that month. Feel free to ping them in, and it can be any type of content, anything really. I just want to share resources with folks in the community, and really give people opportunity for promotion, without anything, and no strings attached or anything like that. But just share resources and information, and provide exposure. But yeah, again, if anybody wants to come up, feel free. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned, you know, you can definitely ask those. And yeah, with that, I'll continue to kind of just share a few more resources. And then if there's nothing else, I'll probably just go ahead and drop off. Again, the replays are on. So if anybody wants this information later, you want to share it, what have you, you can do that. So I covered a couple of things. Talked about melanated mathematics, and then also within the brand itself, scholarships. So what I've done recently as well is not necessarily even just focusing on the scholarships that my brand offers personally, but I've started to collaborate with other groups as well, other organizations who offer scholarships. I would just pin the scholarships page right at the top. I just recently added a new one that is actually not offered by me. It's offered by another organization, and I'm just offering support. So even if you know anybody who creates scholarships or has anything available, and they just want to get more exposure to what they're trying to share with folks, let me know. I don't have a problem with sharing their information on the scholarship site, and I don't charge for that. It's free. But currently, the STEM scholarship is available for Black high school seniors who are going to be going into a 2 or 4 year institution. That's available under the brand. And then there is an additional scholarship that just came out from another organization. If you click the link, and that scholarship is from Mr. Rashad T. Dudley, and he has an organization, a nonprofit called Black Boys Empowered, and what his scholarship is focusing on is Black males who are going into a HBCU, and it's a $500 award. So if you know anybody who's interested in that, I think the deadline for that one isn't until May, so you have some time. And I believe it's a Google form. The link is in the scholarships page as well. So all of this you can access just by clicking right up top. The link is pinned. And then for the again, for the STEM scholarship that I'm offering, it is a simple essay application where the student would create a profile, write their essay, submit it, and that one is a $1,000 award uh, that will go to that student, and it will be announced on April 8th, which is my mom's birthday and my wedding anniversary. The scholarship is actually named for my mother in her memory. I lost my mom when I was 10 years old, so I figured what better way to uplift her name than to create a scholarship, because she was really big into education. She was all about it. Huge proponent of it for sure, and the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So much respect and love to my mom. But outside of that, the deadline for the STEM scholarship, the deadline is actually March 7th. So if anybody's interested, all applications will be closed March 7th, and then the announcement date for the winner will be April 8th. So you can put that on your calendar, share information. Hey, Dr. Sheila, how are you? We're just sharing information and educational resources and content especially if you have anything focusing on Black history or Black culture. You can feel free to come up and share what you have. I can pin your link. So far, I've just shared a few things about as far as like what I'm doing with melanated mathematics. Also talked a little bit about free resources and my site. One focusing on financial well-being for our children and investing for our kids. And right now, we're talking a little bit about scholarships. If the scholarship link is pinned at the top, which goes directly to my site, and there are scholarships available from my brand. But then also, I'm in partnership with other organizations. Currently, a nonprofit called Black Boys Empowered, and it's a brother who his name is Rashad T. Dudley, and he created a scholarship for Black men who are or young Black, I'll say young Black men because they're high school, who are going to be going into an HBCU. So um, if you're interested in that, take a look. All the links are there for those. The STEM scholarship that I have available is $1,000, and Mr. Dudley's scholarship award for HBCUs is $500. So I'm going to continue to collaborate with folks and add to the scholarships page and build it out so that we essentially can have kind of a hub, one-stop shop for folks to go and have students, just apply directly to multiple different opportunities to get funding for school. And I will be rolling out pretty soon. You can see on the page as well a trade school scholarship as well. Not just necessarily focusing on college because we need people to do the skilled trades as well, right? Those aren't going anywhere. So your electricians, HVAC, all those things extremely important. And there's so much opportunity for anyone in those spaces to operate kind of on their own pretense and really get into true entrepreneurship, build their own business, and not have to answer to anybody, right? So if that sounds good to anybody, feel free to check out the scholarships page. Also, if you have any questions, send me a link in the back channel, or send me a question in the back channel. And again, if you have any content that you want to share, maybe you're an author or you create anything for the youth, please come up and share your link so that we can support you there. Again, the replays are on. I see Dr. Sheila's coming. The replays are on, so hopefully anyone who misses the room currently right now, they can come back later, get the information. And again, please feel free to tap in with the Edgy Hustle Club at the top. And join the Facebook group because we're continuing to grow and a lot of people are getting access to a lot of information and opportunities. With that, I will land and pass it over and welcome Dr. Sheila to the stage. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me to grace your platform today. And I love the work that you're doing. I'm tapping into the scholarship information because I do have a son who is a junior in high school. So we are searching for scholarships wherever they may be found. So thank you for the work that you are doing. My name is Dr. Sheila Thomas. I'm also known as your parent partner. The work that I do is to equip and educate parents with the tools and strategies as well as resources to create a solid academic foundation at home. And most importantly, I equip them with information for them to be able to advocate effectively for their child when he or she begins preschool, elementary school, or kindergarten per se. And when I mean advocacy, I'm teaching parents about their parenting style and the child's learning styles, or like this month we're speaking of the child's love language, and how knowing all of this information as a parent about your child and about yourself will equip you to go to the school and be able to articulate to that teacher how your child learns, how you can support the relationship that your child and your teacher has, as well as, I apologize. I'm still the phone ringing, but also to build a better relationship between the parent and the child. That is what I'm doing, bridging the gap between parents and schools with my work. So I offer a course for schools, for PTO organizations, family engagement coordinators. If you're interested in my work and need someone to come and speak to your parent, I'd be delighted to do that. You can check out my website and do a contact me form. I also offer a course specifically for parents of Black and brown boys. And the reason I've niched down is for two reasons. I am a parent of Black and brown boys who I've raised, and they've been pretty successful. But there are also some things that I've done as an imperfect parent. So I'm here to share my wisdom and guidance with parents, so they can also learn the things to do for their Black and brown boys, because we know that statistics are always out there against our little boys to be successful. And so I'm here to bridge that gap as well and dismantle this school to prison pipeline that's set up for our boys by giving parents those tools they need for the Black and brown boys to be successful. Again, that course happens the last Sunday of every month. So if you want to register for it, it is only $27, and it includes an incredible workbook for parents as well. So if anyone's interested in that, you can go to my website as well and check it out. Finally, I'm also an author of several books for children as well as one for women. My books for children are also centered around being a parent of Black and brown sons. My first book, JR's Biggest Fan, is about my son, and how, as a mother, I always supported them with the affirmation: son, never give up. Yes, you can. Always be your biggest fan. So I'm teaching parents to how to support your children. So it's a resource or a tool for parenting about affirmations. And there's a spin-off coloring book called Yes, I Can. And it has I can statements for boys to color, and as they're seeing these different things, I can count to 100. That resonates in them, and they're always saying, I can do different things. And finally, there's another book called Mommy's Little Sunshine, a book about how mom nurtures her little boy. And I was very intentional with those images in that book to really look like a Black parent and a little Black boy sitting in the sun, and it's titled SON Sunshine. And finally, there's a book for women called Wait, Women Anticipating an Incredible Turnaround, which is a story about various things that transpired in my life. Some things were tragic, but how I waited in the waiting room with God and prayed and read scriptures, and He gave my life an incredible turnaround. So that is written to inspire women to don't give up on God. Wait for your incredible turnaround. So I know there's a lot that I'm doing, but I love the work that I'm doing, in my community. My husband and I, we steward a free little library where we, give to the children. We give it back in the community by storing that library every week. We clean it and put new books in there for the people at the homeless center as well as that neighborhood. So that's what I'm doing. And again, thank you so much for allowing me to grace your platform. I'm Dr. Sheila, and I'm complete for now.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheila. I appreciate it. Yeah, everybody, please, I pinned Dr. Sheila's link at the top. It's happened with her. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's doing a lot of amazing things for the community. And I'm learning a lot because, as a parent of a young Black boy myself, I understand that there's a lot I don't know, right? And with experience and listening to people like you, I can gain insight and hopefully, continue to build and forge, a strong, solid future for not only my son, but, other kids as well. So thank you, Dr. Sheila, for everything you're doing. Appreciate you. And I see that we have my sister Deborah on stage. Definitely want to hear, what you got going on. Again, thank you all for being here. This is the Edgy Hustle Club. We're sharing educational content, especially focused on Black history and culture, since we are in Black History Month. But with that, I will pass it over to Deborah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Cedric. Oh, wow, this is such a great space. I was like, something just pulled me and told me, come on, Clubhouse. There's something fantastic going on. And then, boom, I'm here. And so I just want to, first off, appreciate you, Cedric, for really hosting this kind of space. I think it's really important for us to be able to come together and actually just directly share what it is that we use in serving and offering to our education community. And maybe, in that way, we can also alert those who may miss such information during the week because of all the hustle and bustle that we have to go through. And then they can just come in on a chill Friday evening and listen in and grab the opportunities that are available for them. So thank you so much for having us share. So I just want to celebrate Black History Month with you all, and to share with you an amazing opportunity. And Cedric, I believe I'm messaging you the link right now. And this is actually a summit that is hosted not by me, but by another fantastic educator who is an entrepreneur herself and has found the need for a boatload of us to come together and to share our expertise, to share our journeys, but most importantly, to share the best tools and resources and strategies that we have for building a business online, for making money online, specifically for educators. So this is an educator specific summit all about how you can enter into the world of entrepreneurship and build out the tools, grab the tools and all of those necessary information that you need to step out really confidently in that space. And so we've come together and created this summit. It's going to be hosted this month from the 17th to the 20th. It is a fantastic, or should I say, it's going to be a fantastic 4-day experience. We're going to have amazing speakers. We're going to have in summit experiences with the chats and with the conversations that are going to be going on. We have some bonus content coming up as well. And also, if you sign up for the summit, there are actually bonus content you can also grab on the go before the summit even starts off. So there's a lot that we've poured into this summit, mostly because number one, our desire, our purpose is that you grab the tools that you need to be able to be successful when you're thinking about building a secondary income, when you're thinking about building a business, or even scaling the business that you have right now. We're super passionate about educators having those necessary tools and having the information they need. And so that's our first and foremost goal with this summit. And secondly, we want to expose you to amazing groups of people that you might not know exist, and the expertise that they give out that can purposely, that can basically, give you opportunities to collaborate, give you opportunities to link up with other educators who may be attending the summit or even maybe presenting during the summit, and also give you the opportunity to expand your professional learning network. Because another beauty about entrepreneurship, and Cedric and Dr. Sheila and Jahan, I haven't met you yet, but I'm pretty sure that you are also agreeing with this, is that we do not just do what we do and leave. We connect with each other. We collaborate with each other. We work together as a team to be able to continuously provide what we do so that it is the best of the best when we give it over to those who need it, and so that we can help each other's communities. And so it's not just about you coming to grab resources or coming to listen in the summit and the presentations. It's about making those really purposeful connections that are going to transform your growth as an entrepreneur and your experience in entrepreneurship just in general alone. So our vision is that through this summit, you're going to start stepping into your role as an entrepreneur, or should I say edupreneur, this year confidently with the tools that you have and so much more. And so I just welcome you to grab this opportunity, grab your ticket. And honestly, if during those 4 days you're going to be super busy or you can't make all of the sessions, that is totally, totally okay. We've provided an opportunity for you to grab the summit and be able to go back to watch any sessions that you haven't yet caught up with, or any presentations, and still be able to have access to the bonus content that each presenter is giving to everyone who attends the summit. So each entrepreneur who's speaking is giving a gift to everyone who attends their session. And so you will be able to still grab all of those goodies and still benefit from them, even though you're not able to attend in person. So I just welcome you to tap on the link, explore this option, share it with those who you think will benefit from it, because this is our time as educators to really step into the power and opportunity that is provided for us online, and for us to be able to make out those pathways, those income revenue streams, and build them out in ways that support us so that we can come back to our first love and be able to dive into our first love in ways that don't limit us. And when I say our first love, I mean education itself. Maybe it's the classroom for you. Maybe it's administration, or whatever it is that you want to do within education. You're not going to be limited anymore by financial burdens, or the question of whether it's going to be enough for you, the question of whether you're going to have to work longer than you have to, but then you'll feel much more comfortable and much more flexible in what you are able to do in this community and in this industry, and it's just going to really blow your mind. So I welcome you to tap on that link, explore this opportunity, grab onto it, and I hope that it's going to make the changes necessary that you need for your journey this year and even beyond. So with that, guys, that's my a Black History Month gift to pretty much any educator that I see, and I hope that it really will continue to support you as you're moving forward. So with that, passing the mic back to you, Cedric.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Appreciate it. Definitely. Yeah, I pinned the link at the top. So if you all are interested in the summit, feel free to tap into it, check it out. Yeah, I might have to do that myself. I like it. Teachers making money. I mean, essentially, that's what we're talking about right here in terms of the kind of one of the goals and kind of big ideas of Edu Hustle, with helping educators maximize their time, talents, and earning potential. Right. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and pin the link for the Facebook group back at the top, just so we have that available for anyone who is interested. But once again, happy Friday. Thank you all for being here. And I understand it's nearing the end of the week, literally, in terms of your Friday. So thank you all for being here, tapping in. This is the Edgy Hustle Club, and I created this club after starting a community through Facebook, which I just pinned at the top. I would say definitely tap into the Facebook community if you haven't already. It's over 900 members. I think it's been less than a month, which is amazing because there's a lot of resources and insight and information shared. As a matter of fact, I was just mentioning earlier in the room that I got a message this morning that was directly from one of the members in the group who was sharing with me that they have moved on to the next phase, for a position that they're up for in the edtech space, and that was kind of on the heels of them going through the entering edtech webinar that I did for the group, and I think I'm gonna bring that back because I think I got a solid response. People were really into it, and I think it's just going to be something that can be replicated and added in terms of anybody that wasn't able to make it the first time. So if you're interested in EdTech, that's what I do. For anybody who is not familiar with me, that's my background currently after coming out of the classroom and out of the school system as a school administrator as well. But again, real quick, we are talking about educational content. So if you have content that you create, you write books, you make math content, science, whatever you do, you can feel free to come up. We're pinning links at the top. I'm just sharing, the space, promoting folks who might have something of value to give to the community, and really kind of focusing and centering on, if it's Black history or Black culture focus. Definitely want to hear from you because it is Black History Month. So just to give a little bit of a synopsis of the things that we've shared so far. I started out by talking about the content that I create called Melanated Mathematics, which is math content in the context of Black history and culture, which also includes financial literacy, so teaching kids as young as 5 years old financial concepts, but from a Black history perspective. Talking about things like shopping at a Black-owned grocery store and budgeting, all the way up to learning about Black-owned companies that are publicly traded on the stock market, how to read stock charts, using games, so on and so forth. And also talked a little bit about scholarship opportunities. So under my brand, I personally offer scholarships. One in particular right now, which is a STEM-based scholarship. So if you know any African American students who are graduating high school this year and going into a STEM pathway at a 2 or 4 year institution, I am offering a $1,000 award, and it's in the name of my mother, so lifting her memory up. So if you're interested in that, let me know, because that will be ending pretty soon. The date for the application submissions, the deadline is March 7th. But I've also added another, and I'm going to put that link back at the top for the scholarships. I've also just started reaching out in collaboration with other organizations and groups who offer scholarships as well. And most recently, I just was able to connect with another organization called Black Boys Empowered. And the gentleman who runs it, his name is Rashad Dudley, and he is currently offering a scholarship as well. And his scholarship is focusing on young Black men who are planning to go to an HBCU, right? So I believe the award for that is $500, and all the information is on the page that is linked at the top for scholarships. So if you know anybody who is looking for scholarships, there's some insight there. I'm going to continue to build this out and add more as I can. So the more people I reach out to, I've made a couple connections today of some other organizations who offer scholarships, and I'll get their information added to the page so that any traffic I get will become their traffic as well, right? So we just want to expand the impact and the exposure. So if you have any scholarships available, let me know. We can get them added to the page, and we can just share and make sure that everybody knows what's possible. But yeah, again, if you create content, and thank you for those who have just joined the room. We've grown a little bit. I appreciate you all being here. I see my brother Philip came in, Leslie, Angela, Ryan, hey, Michelle, Zaynet, and Anthea, who actually invited me to the app. Appreciate you. Um, so yeah, if you have content that you are either promoting to for sale, or even things that you're giving away for free, come up to the stage. I'll pin your links, and we can get you some exposure and make sure that people know the great work that you're doing, because I don't think we highlight, especially educators, as creatives enough. Sometimes it's just kind of, we get locked into that box, and that's not what we all do, right? That's not it, right? We're so multifaceted in nature. So if you have anything that you want to share with the group, please raise your hand. Come on up, especially if it has anything to do with Black history. And with that being said, also if you're holding spaces, rooms, you have a club, your own Clubhouse that you want people to tap into, also come up and share that information as well. Just because we need to continue to populate spaces that are going to do well for us and serve us, as far as our community goes. So, but does anybody on the stage want to add anything else? I mean, I got my brother Jahan up here, Dr. Sheila and Deborah, who shared amazing things. Anybody else have anything else that they wanted to add on to the conversation?
I'd like to shout out Dr. Mina Joe Blazy. I keep like messing up everybody's name. I think it's because it's Friday. I want to shout out Dr. Mina Joe because I know that she is planning a room that's going to be directly talking about, the development of, or should I say, the history and scaling of Black women in STEM and in the sciences. I know that she's going to be referencing hidden figures. She's going to be hosting that conversation. She hasn't exactly set a date for that, but I just wanted to shout her out because, number one, she's not here to talk about it. And number two, I know it's going to be a great conversation. She's probably going to host it either in her space or in Education Matters. So if you're not following her or you're not following the Education Matters Club, I highly suggest to do so because I know that it's going to be a fantastic conversation. And she's really going to dive deep into just kind of the transformative experience of women in STEM, Black women in STEM to be more specific, and what we can do with that, not just referencing history, but taking it from where it is and pushing it further. How can we contribute to that purpose? How can we contribute to educators who are here on the app and already doing that? I know Saki is an amazing educator who's at the forefront of making sure that Black girls and girls of color have the opportunity to make a difference in the world of STEM and to have opportunities in that space if they're interested in that career track. And so just kind of coming together and supporting educators who are really passionate about that, and talking about it from the historical point of view towards what we can do today. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. So I just wanted to shout that out so that folks can plan to attend that. So thank you. Back to you, Cedric.
Yeah, thank you for looking it up, and definitely mentioning Dr. Mina. She's amazing, 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 amazing. And I always try to follow a lot of different folks in terms of the education space, and she's one of them, as well as you all, and definitely the people in the audience. I feel like the education community on Clubhouse is pretty tight knit. Right? I see a lot of the same people all the time, which is good. That actually tells me a lot of times whenever I go into a space, if it's going to be worthwhile based on the merit of the people whom I know that are already in there. So I appreciate you all again for being here. And yeah, definitely, in terms of where we are thinking about aspects such as minorities in STEM, minority women, in particular, Black women in STEM. Like that's a big thing, and I can speak directly from my own experience. Going to an HBCU and studying chemistry there, right? It was amazing for me, and a wonderful experience within my chemistry department because number one, it was a very small department. There were not a lot of chemistry majors. But what I can say is that the vast majority of the majors in that program were Black women. Like all of my lab partners were Black women. Like, and it was just, an amazing thing because um, when you get to a certain point, of course, in kind of like your educational, journey through college and things like that, you get to the point where you start doing, research conferences and all those things. So, just seeing right the capacity, that is kind of overshadowed or not highlighted and spotlighted enough. Me, I have that ingrained in my mind forever. So I always have, the utmost respect. I always did, I mean, my mom's a Black woman, so let's be real. But, in terms of the educational aspects, right, and just the intelligence, it's amazing. So definitely uplifting that for sure. And I actually see, oh, Deborah, you got another one. I'm gonna let you go ahead, and I'm gonna pass it over to you. I think you got another shout
I've
out for
got
us.
a Thank you so much, Cedric. I've got a ton. I sent you a link as well. And sorry guys, I just think this is a wonderful opportunity to shout out a lot of people of color who are doing fantastic things. And I just want to shout out KP Carter, Kathy Carter. If you haven't met her here on this space, she's a fantastic author and she's passionate. Dr. Sheila, you know,
I
you
just
know,
sent her a
she is so
message to come in the room.
really, she should come. But I hope she's able to make it. But she's a fantastic author, a children's book author. She has a series. And it's just amazing the work that she's doing, plus her passion to be able to support parents, specifically who are not really sure how to help their children love reading and learn to read, but most importantly, build on their literacy from the home front and not just the school front as well. So she's not just an author, but she's super passionate about supporting parents in that sense as a parent coach. So she's got a lot of things working up and coming up in the forefront. She has a workshop that's going to be hosted. Not so sure about the date for this month yet, but it's going to be hosted this month. And she's got a couple of her books as well. And she's just a fantastic person to connect with. So I just wanted to shout her out. That's her website over there. Check it out. Feel free to connect with her. And yeah, I just wanted to be sure to do that for her here. So passing it back.
Definitely, that's why we're here. If you mean, keep them coming. keep, I mean, as long as I have this room open, which will be a little while longer until I gotta go pick up my son. But yeah, if you have any more, please let me know. Share the resources, share the information. Again, the replays are on for a reason. Because I want people to be able to come back and get this information, to get the resources, to get everything that we're sharing, if they can't make it right now. And I see, and I want to pronounce your name correctly. I'm not sure if it's I say long I or a short I. Is it Zynet or
It's
Zenet?
Zinette.
Zenet.
It's Zinette.
Perfect. Got
Yeah.
you.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
I try to be respectful of people's names for sure because I can't tell you how many times I've heard Cedric and Kedrick and people put S's and K's in my name. So I don't, I
Thank you.
understand.
I
I
appreciate
respect
it.
you. Yep. But yeah, I'm going to pass it over to you. Welcome you to the stage. Zenet, thank you for being here. What do you have to share for us?
Yeah, I looked at the room and I know Dr. Sheila and Leslie, so I just wanted to hear what was shared. But at the same time, I just want to share also like what I do. My name is Zinat Kamal. I am a mom of four, and by day I work as a cloud security engineer at a Fortune 500 company. I'm a recent immigrant from Ethiopia. I wouldn't say recent because it's been 8 years already, but I switched my career from being in the legal field to technology and currently working in cybersecurity. And as of last year, I published a children's book, one children's book back in July of 2021 titled Proud in Her Hijab. And then the other one just releasing tomorrow titled Oh No Hacked Again, teaching kids about the importance of online safety. So I just wanted to share maybe a little content about like what the books were about, if they happen to be useful or something that is of interest to this audience. So the first book, Proud in Her Hijab, it's written, both books were written inspired by my own children. I have 2 boys and 2 girls based on their experiences. Proud in Her Hijab, it's meant to uplift and empower girls who choose to wear the hijab, the headscarf that Muslim women and girls wear. A few days back, we just kind of celebrated the World Hijab Day that, shares the stories of women, why they wear their hijab, and what it means to them, and the significance of it to women, as opposed to, what has been shared, or the stereotypes that's shared in, in mainstream media and that sort of things. So one aspect of it is empowering and uplifting girls who choose to wear the hijab, and the other is to create awareness for readers that the importance of diversity and inclusion and appreciating other people's cultural and faith. The second book that's launching tomorrow, but it released 2 days ago, is Oh No Hacked Again. It's again is inspired by my own kids again, in the pandemic when they were playing their games or spending more time than usual online, not ready for a social media yet because they're not that old, but their accounts on more than 2 occasions have been stolen. And as a mother who's also working in the field of cybersecurity, noticed all of those things, and I thought this is something that is prevalent because I've heard it and read it in different platforms that such things happen. So that emphasizes, the importance of, as much as we're quick to equip them with tech, tablets, and whatnot, we don't teach them, or we think that they're too young to learn about the importance of online safety, against cyberbullying or online predators or just hackers in general, or just practicing those online safety things about password security or applying multi-factor authentication to our accounts. The other aspect of it is transitioning into this field. I noticed that the field lacks diversity a lot. 71% of the professionals in the industry are white male, and women only account for 24%, which recently grew. It was 11% up until recently. And I thought it might be a good idea, with characters that look like us and with the stories that they can relate, through games and whatnot, that they could see themselves seeing cybersecurity as a career, as their future career option, because it's a very lucrative industry, and it lacks diversity, and it requires the perspectives of everyone bringing a table to solve the cyber problems that we continue to face every day. So those are the main things that I wanted to share. Thank you so much for listening and for having me up here.
Of course. And oh my goodness, hold on, I gotta take a breath because number one, shout out to you on the content you released. And even though you said it came out a couple of days ago, but the actual launch of your book is tomorrow, so congratulations on that. And also just uplifting you too, being a mother, right? And I know, shout out to Dr. Sheila, she had that connection too, because she's a parent. But then, with younger kids, because I try to really learn, from others as well in terms of, parenting and all that, because, see my picture, my son is really young. He'll be 2 in March. So just hearing about, possibilities and things that I can even expose him to. So like even the content that you're creating, right? With representation of not just American Black people, right? Or, African Americans or what have you, but like letting everybody know, right? And I can expose my son to, hey, we're all over the place, right? And we're going to look like this, right? Multiple different facets, and just the diversity within our people, right? And all the cultures that come along with it. Amazing. So yeah, if you all haven't, tapped in with the link at the top for Zenith's content, please do it. Please do it, because all this is necessary. And I don't want to please don't let this go over your head. Cybersecurity, like, okay. I mean, I'm a big STEM advocate, being a scientist myself, but for in terms of all these conversations we have around technology and the role that if they're going to play in, the job market going forward. You could talk about things like automation, and jobs being lost, and where our emphasis needs to be, and then even going down to the representation and the content. Right, I mentioned earlier, um, one thing I firmly believe is that children, all children, honestly, I think when it comes to education or when it comes to content, whatever you want to call it, curriculum, anything, um, they need mirrors and windows, right? They need to see themselves, but then they also need to be able to see outside, right? And see that, that the world is a big place and there's different people. But for us, and I'm speaking specifically for my experience, being a black man in America, once being a black boy in America, there's not enough, I think, of the mirror aspect of it, right, for our kids, which is why I started creating content. I create, and I'm really opening up this space to try to see who else has something of value, so that we can, continue to share these resources. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I need my son to see, like, himself. I need him to see people that look like him. I need him to see, not just kind of the same old thing that I've seen, right, in school. I need, exposure, right? And I think that that's just a big piece, especially when we talk about history, right? Because a lot of times we start talking about history, of course, with Black history, and then with this month in particular, we say Black history is American history, right? But what about before that, right? Or what about beyond that, outside of that? Um, so I appreciate you and all the work that you're doing and everything that you just shared with us. Thank you so much. But I do see that we have Michelle on the stage. Thank you for being here. If you have any content or anything to share, feel free to send me a link. If you want me to post something. If not, I'll probably just go into your bio and pull it, and throw it up at the top so people can support you in however way we see fit. And yeah, I'll pass it to you. Thank you, Michelle, for being here.
Oh, thank you, Cedric. Thanks for inviting me to the stage. I'm sitting and just listening, sharing a lot of great information. I'm Michelle, and I'm a leadership coach. So I'm a retired educator. I have worked in just about every capacity in education, and now currently I just do full time coaching, focusing on women that are in leadership or aspiring leaders, teacher leaders, anybody in the educational space, just having experience or knowing the importance of, building that leadership pipeline and building capacity within, the different organizations, and specifically from an educational standpoint, because it's so important. And, making people realize that just because you're in a classroom doesn't necessarily mean that you can't build yourself as a leader. So that's my primary focus. So currently what I'm working on now is a membership site that's going to be specifically geared around women in leadership, and specific, pain points that they have when they're in leadership, when they're aspiring to become a leader, and then also just kind of building that capacity within for those that, have been remaining silent as a leader, but definitely have those capabilities to lead, baked from the inside out. So thank you for inviting me up. And as that rolls out, I'm going to continue to be in these spaces to kind of learn and grow as a leader, and then also being able to connect and collaborate, because I definitely want others to be a part of this process as I develop this membership site. So thank you, Cedric, and I'll yield my mic.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. And I know I got a couple more speakers. So hey, Leslie, hey, Isis, but I got to do this. Shout out to Black women right now and forever. Like, I don't know if have y'all looked at the stage. Like, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, I had to do that, and just uplift you all, and all the work that you're doing, consistently, throughout the community, as mothers, as every facet of professionalism. I just appreciate y'all so much. So thank you for being you. And with that being said, I did post Michelle's link at the top. If anybody's interested in tapping in with her, please do that. Again, the replays are on. You're in the Edgy Hustle Club. Feel free to follow and also tap in with me. I'm going to post the link again pretty soon for the Facebook group at the top. That's where a lot of our work is being done. A lot of resources are being shared. But with that being said, I want to go ahead to the next speaker, an amazing woman who, I don't even know how to, I don't even, I don't even know where to start the intro for you, Leslie. Amazing mother, educator, so many things. Speaker, right? Just caught your recent talk on a podcast that I saw through Facebook. One of the members in the Edgy Hustle group, he did an interview with you. So I'll let you go ahead and take the mic. Leslie, it's on you.
Oh, thank you so much, Cedric. All honor goes to God, absolutely. All honor, all good, all God. And I appreciate what you do and what everyone on this stage and the audience does here. Our mission is to, God willing, help children, right? Help children, help families, help parents to pay it forward, help teachers, help one another. So make this world a better place. So I thank you so much for this room, and thank you for letting people come up to share. It may not directly be connected to Black history, but then again, it probably is, because when I think about the majority of my career has been in urban schools as a teacher and as a school principal, and then as an assistant superintendent of schools over principals. And so it's great to be in a room, in a space where there are people here that are working with teachers, with leaders, with families, with children, because I want to share a room that's going to happen this evening. Thanks for pinning it. It's a room that I co-moderate with my sister Elsa, who is an educator, and our niece Brooklyn, who's a college student. It's the Share, Inspire, Educate room, and we come here to share stories, to inspire one another, and to educate, to become more educated on educational topics, parenting topics, social issues, things like that. So I don't know if you all have heard of this expression. I learned about it about 3 decades ago from my sister Elsa. I tell you, she's just, I thank God for her. She introduced me to this, it's a vignette, a story, and it's about teachers who have to teach with the wolf at the door. The author is an amazing person by the name of Mimi Brodsky Chenfeld. And she says, quote, "When teachers feel pressure to conform to teaching practices or agendas different from their own, they may need to become, quote, bilingual, end quote, to speak the educational lingo of the day when necessary, while continuing in their own classroom to speak the, quote, language of the spirit," end quote. Basically, it's when we find that we're working in schools that we thought principals perhaps were going to honor our teaching value, our teaching skills. Even as principals, we thought maybe our assistant superintendents were going to value us being school leaders and implementing curriculum and doing things a little different than how it's always been done. We thought we could maybe use the money of a funder or a donor the way that it should be used to help children. But suddenly we realized that the wolf is at the door. And the way that my sister and I describe it, let's see, let me get back to this, is that you're basically teaching in an environment where you never know when the wolf is going to show up. The wolf might walk in and reprimand you if you're supposed to be on a certain lesson and you're still finishing from another lesson prior to. They might be in there to write you up, to give you an F on your evaluation. They might be in there to say you've taken too many trips to the zoo in 1 year. These are all experiences that, that I'm used to with other teachers and also with myself. And so we have to help each other. We have to help each other realize that if you work in an environment where you have this wolf, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to close the door and teach the way you really know works, that's effective? Or are you going to keep the door open? Are you going to be belittled, humiliated? Are you going to, like I was crying in the bathroom my initial year of teaching, like, where the hell am I right now? This is not what I signed up for, right? And so we want to be here to help teachers and to help principals, because if we're not helping them, then yeah, they're going to get burnt out. They're going to leave the profession. We already know what's happening with teachers leaving the profession. And the way I look at it, you should be writing your own script. You should be able to go and teach where you want to go and teach. So it's happening tonight. It's at 5:00 p.m. EST in the Share, Inspire, Educate room. We are going to have the replay on. And we just hope you come in. We hope you share your stories. We hope you inspire others, and let's all become educated. So thank you for letting me come up on your stage, Cedric. I appreciate it, and I'm done.
Oh no problem. This is not my stage. This is for the people. I don't have any ownership of this. I'm just here. Just trying to share, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, and I agree completely and wholeheartedly with the notion behind the room. Because the first school I taught in, it wasn't even just the principal. It was like the instructional superintendent, and it was like an open door. But I got to a point where I stopped closing my door, just because people were always coming in. And I was just like, well, we might as well just leave the door open. They're coming anyway, coming in for whatever reason, just to look at the wall, to check the data, to ask me a question while I'm trying to teach kids. And then of course, going into being an administrator myself. I mean, I saw, I was able to take a different approach. So I think what you're doing, you along with Elsa, I think it's beautiful that you are able to operate, moderate, and have spaces like that with your sister. That's an amazing thing. So I definitely commend and appreciate the work that you all both do. And if I don't get to talk to her and I don't make it to the room, please send her my love and respect this evening. And
Will do. Thank you.
of course, for sure. Also, hope Sammy's doing well. Just wanted to do a quick shout out for the
Real
unschooling
quick,
folks.
he's doing fine. He
Yep.
had his African storytelling class, and for the first time, he fell asleep. Her voice is so beautiful. Every week, he takes an African storytelling class, at Black History, right, and learns about a new country on Out School. And he fell asleep. So, but he's doing fine. He's still sleeping. But thank you.
No, yeah, no problem for sure. Definitely, beautiful person to tap into. If you're not following Leslie, you're doing yourself a disservice. Definitely tap in with her. But yeah, I want to keep it going. Just this is amazing. Just seeing these black women up on the stage with me. I'm about to moderate all y'all just cause like I just want it just looks cool. I got to take a screenshot and be like, look, they're killing it as always. But yeah, I want to go ahead and move on and bring up the next speaker, Isis Clay, who is an amazing creative. You know, as far as like performance and SEL and just always doing some amazing work and offering from different seminars and different sessions and resources for folks to be a little bit more mindful, right? Love it. But yeah, I'll let you take it away, Isis, and I'm gonna go ahead and get your link posted at the top. So feel free to introduce yourself and tell us what's going on.
Thank you so much, Cedric. Hello, everybody. I'm Isis Clay. And yes, I consider myself to live at the intersection between creativity, mental wellness, and education. I am a professional theater artist by trade, but I am also an educator in my heart. I was in the classroom for over 17 years, actually over 19 years, but 17 of those years is what I usually say. Because I was in and out of the first two. But yes, and I unfortunately left the classroom because of dealing with compassion fatigue and secondary traumatic stress. And so my mission is to make sure that there are supports in place for teachers, for educators who are passionate about what they do, who really love education, but are dealing with some very tough issues around trauma, around burnout. And so I offer programs that speak to that. One of the programs is called Right to Create. And in this program, I lead teachers or educators through the process of creating a mini memoir, looking at those definitive moments in your career, really taking a second and really looking at them and seeing how education has not only transformed your students, because we all know that teachers are miracle workers. A lot of times teachers have fantastic skills in helping transform the lives of young people, but not only looking at that, but how this journey has transformed us. How has it transformed you? And as we look through that, a lot of aha moments happen. Right now, I have a cohort of teachers that are going through the program Right to Create, and every week there's this moment, this beautiful moment of a light bulb on, this is why I do this. I thought it was this, but no, this is why I do this. And so we look at that. We challenge what we thought our whys were, and we redefine them, especially having gone through and still going through a pandemic that is changing us. So we need to take a second to really make sure that we are well and we are being authentic to our whys. So that is Right to Create. I'm also a speaker and professional development facilitator. I go into schools and I help them increase the creativity on campus. Now, when I say creativity, a lot of people look at my background and they think, oh, she's talking about the arts. Oh, and it's not just that. Creativity is not just the arts. And so we go in and we talk about that. And the program focuses on first the adults in the space, because whether we want to talk about it or not, teachers are becoming more and more disengaged. And when we have disengaged teachers, then the hope of having engaged students goes out the window. So we start with the adults in the space, the teachers in the space. What turns that light back on? What grabs them? What makes them excited? What kind of how can we increase their creativity? And then we talk about ways to transform that or transfer that into the classroom authentically in order to turn their students' light bulbs on. So that's what I work with. That's what I do. That's the work that I do. And I'm always interested in meeting new educators. The next cohort of Right to Create starts in April, and I would love to talk to anybody who wants to talk about that, who has questions about that. Um, that's coming up. And then also, last thing, 2/22/22, I am going to be presenting my solo show, Sculpting Clay, or How I Became Mother of Unicorns. This solo show is my mini memoir, and it details my journey dealing with compassion fatigue, but finding joy on the other end of it. And I'm going to be presenting it here on Clubhouse. So make sure that you follow me so that you can get all the information about that, and you can be in the room where it happens, as they say. All right, everybody. This is such a beautiful room, Cedric. Thank you so much for hosting this. And I look forward to seeing everyone else in these Clubhouse streets. All right, Cedric, back to you.
Thanks, Isis. I appreciate it. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, this space wouldn't be anything without y'all. So I appreciate everybody actually coming through, and I thought it was gonna be a lot shorter in terms of time frame for this room than it actually turned out to be. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go on here for 40 minutes and share some information, and they'll get the replay. But no, you all showed up. I appreciate it. But yeah, I went ahead and posted the Edgy Hustle Facebook group at the top. For anybody that just came in, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. This is the Edgy Hustle Club, where we are focusing on, today, primarily thinking about educational content creators, and that can be in any facet, right? If you do any type of support efforts, if you create curriculum or what have you, and we're really thinking about the emphasis here placed on Black History and culture, with us being in Black History Month. And if you create things aligned to that, or not, feel free to come up. We're sharing, resources. I'll definitely gladly put your link at the top, so people can kind of check out what you're doing and, pick and choose where they see fit. And maybe, I don't know, if you're selling something, maybe they'll buy it, or maybe we can force some collaborations and get some support in here. But with that being said, I went ahead and put the Edu Hustle Facebook group back at the top. Edu Hustle is a club here on Clubhouse, and we hold rooms usually on Thursdays. But I pushed this one back to today because there was a job fair yesterday that I wanted to really get people to go into. But the Edu Hustle Facebook group is a community of over 900 educators. And when I say educator, I'm not just talking about classroom teachers. I'm not currently a classroom teacher. I work in ed tech, but a lot of different facets from folks who are in the classroom, working in the education sphere elsewhere, or parents, right? Homeschoolers as well are all lumped into that because, we educate, we teach people. If you ever showed anybody how to do something productive with their self, with their life, you're an educator. So you can be a part of this group, join it. There's a lot of resources and information, practical things. I really focus on practicality, not just theory. So if you are looking for side hustles, things as simple as selling on eBay, creating your own ebooks, all the way up to getting into ed tech or changing your kind of your career path, and then also tapping with the people on the stage. We've got some amazing folks like Deborah's a coach. Zenith is actually in cybersecurity. Crazy, right? I might have to tap in with you. I might have to pick your brain a little bit. And of course, we have Michelle, who's also a coach and supporting folks in their leadership skills and leadership development. And then Isis is just all things creativity and SEL focus, right? So we've heard some amazing shares, information, tapping with them, and then also share, follow each other. Folks are in the crowd, and I know some people sent me some links in the back channel. I'm gonna get to those. I promise you, I'm gonna get them posted. But with that being said, I'm gonna keep the conversation going. We got some gentlemen on the stage. I see Jacob first, so I want to go ahead and pass the mic over to Jacob, and then we'll hear from Syed. Jacob, it's on you.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Cedric, for the opportunity. I've been in a few of your rooms, and there's just so much value that you're adding. So thank you. My name is Jacob. I wear a few different hats. I'm a career coach, disability advocate, and special education teacher. So what I wanted to share was a couple of things. On the education side, I'm working on a project I've been actually working on since I was 10 years old. I grew up with a learning disability due to hydrocephalus, which is essentially a brain hemorrhage. But I excelled in music. I struggled with my memory retrieval, but I excelled in music. I could sit down at a piano and basically play back whatever I heard on radio, TV, movies, whatever. So I figured out how to use my strength of music as a tool for memory retrieval on myself. Basically using music as a mnemonic device for memory recall. So now I have a small Facebook community where I basically pair any task with any tune for memory recall, behavior management, life skills, etc. But now I want to build something more user friendly where somebody could sit down and have a task, have a song, and it spits out an end product for recall, life skills, behavior, what have you. I have a Facebook page, happy to share it. The possibilities are endless for like any task and any tune. So happy to share that. You mentioned someone's in cybersecurity. I have a director of recruiting who actually just got back to me. He's trying to fill a bunch of roles. They're high-level cybersecurity roles. If anyone's interested, I don't usually share that in the education room, but you mentioned cybersecurity. So I'll stop talking. Appreciate this room, Cedric.
I know, most definitely. And Jacob, if you want to send me the link for your Facebook group, I'll definitely put it at the top. I was trying to dig through your bio and your Instagram just to pull something out. But if you want to send it to me, I'll put it up at the top for sure. But yeah, it was actually Zenith who is in cybersecurity, but I think she's doing all right. She might know some folks who might need some support. Anybody else as well, if that sounds good to you, if you're interested in that at all. Because again, we're not just kind of like single faceted people in the education space. There's more to us than just the idea of standing in front of a class, right? We do many things, and standing in front of a class, it within itself is more than one thing. So let's just be honest about that. But yeah, I want to keep it going. I appreciate you all being here again. Tapping with the Facebook group at the top, and with that, I want to go ahead and pass it over to Syed. What do you have to share with us today?
Hey Cedric, wonderful being here, especially amongst these powerhouses. Deborah, thanks for the pin. Really appreciate it. This room speaks so many volumes to me. And Jacob, inspiring, man. So inspiring. It's just the fact that I worked alongside music therapists and I used to see how they worked with the senior population and the geriatric population of working with them to recall memory. And what you're doing, man, it's inspiring. I encourage you and I hope the best for you, man. That's awesome stuff, I have to say. Great shares, everyone. My name is Syed Rizvi. I'm an online medical educator. So I teach online to healthcare students and students of nursing school, medical school, PA school, and even undergraduate school. My curriculum is based on content sharing on social media. So like that's why I was like in love with the room name. And what we do essentially is we post different forms of high yield, concise, and effective content that really gathers like a community of learners that really want to learn in a quick fashion from what they're studying in school, just to speed things up. So it's called RevMed. I encourage you guys to check it out. I would love to share ideas and hear about how we can make things better and how we could even, move things around with how we're doing things. And most recently, we did a publication on COVID 19, which is an illustrated guide to understanding the virus. And in that, too, what we did was we just launched it this week. It's a book. And what we did was essentially made it so that when you read through the book, you'll understand what the virus actually is and how it enters our body, but in a very simple fashion. We made it so it's eighth grade language for the general public, for a community across the entire world. Anyone can read it. We're translating it currently, and things like this. I feel as if like these are the ways to like educate nowadays with the students online on social media. They love to find little pieces of content that they could like learn, grasp while they're enjoying the other forms of entertainment on social media. I know Deborah over here talks about this a lot more than I do, so I'm sure she shared a lot. And that's it for me, and I'm happy to answer any questions and also engage with you guys because there's a lot to learn from you all. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Said. I appreciate it. And I pinned your link at the top, and I appreciate bringing in the medical aspect of things because I think, and I'm not sure if Steve is still here. Steve is here. Down at the bottom, my brother Steve Dorsey. Some of the work that he focuses on aligns directly to that as well as the cultural representation, which is beautiful. But yeah, I think that those are aspects that we really need to delve into a little bit more and expose our our youth to, right? A lot
So
of these
believe it or not,
concepts and
Cedric,
yes,
believe it or not, Cedric, like bringing in medical education content, I've learned so much from children authors of how they present educational material online or in books and in curriculum. And I've used those strategies of color, of engaging different graphics and stuff like that into higher education. So I always say to people whenever I'm in a K-12 space, I'm like, listen, I'm learning from how you guys are capturing young students because the graduate students are no different. Their attention spans are sometimes even worse than those that are in the K through 12 space. So that's why I wanted to add to your point of what you're saying. But thank you.
for sure, yeah, and yeah, you might want to actually connect with Steve Dorsey because I know he's had some actual experts, in history and also in medicine and things like that contribute directly to his content, which is amazing. So that could be a point right there for you all. But yeah, with that being said, tap in with Saeed and see what he's doing. Check out the link at the top for the book on Amazon, currently available. And yeah, I looked at your Instagram too. There's a lot of great information there. So if you're interested in getting something that is worth digesting, then I would say tap in there and just continue to learn. Right, we're here to grow. And with that being said, talking about growth, right, and development, um, I feel a bit like a champion, kind of like a champion leader. So maybe with that in mind, my good brother Jamal Maxim, who is an igniter of champion leaders, can speak directly to that point and what he does. Jamal, welcome to the stage. Go ahead and share with us what you got going on.
Thank you so much, Cedric. It's great to be here, be in a room with all the EDU hustlers. About that, got a call. I'm Jamal Maxim. I'm an igniter of champion leaders, and I help aspiring leaders make the shift and answer the call to leadership. And so, what I have going on is at the end of the month, I have a 5-day challenge that begins on Monday, February 21st. And This challenge is called the School Igniter Challenge, and it is a challenge all about how we can ignite change within the schools. Because a lot of times we all know school needed to change, is needed to change prior to the pandemic, and probably there are going to be changes that need to be made after the pandemic is over. But the problem is there aren't enough igniters because people are getting burnt out. They're ready to quit. I saw an article yesterday where it said, well, it kind of said what I was sensing, that more people are not only ready to quit but are thinking about quitting. And so what we need to do is to ignite our passion and to ignite change once again, so that instead of people quitting, they will find their passion for education and use their skill set and their passion to help education evolve into what it's supposed to be, because it's been stagnant for way too long. And so that's what this challenge is all about. It's a 5-day challenge, and we're going to talk about what it means to be an igniter, characteristics of an igniter, how to create a dream team of igniters, and what it really means to 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 bring transformation, because you don't have to be a school leader to ignite and be a catalyst for change. And so that's what it's going to be about. We're going to talk about school leadership, but we're also going to talk about being a person of influence in whatever position. We're also going to talk about igniting as an entrepreneur, because sometimes you may need to use your EDU business to be the catalyst for change versus being in one building or one district. So that's what we're going to talk about. Registration will open Monday. And so in the meantime, thank you, Cedric. You can go to my website, or you can go to jamalmaxim.org/connect and get on my mailing list so I can email you the link directly on Monday once registration is open. This 5-day challenge is for free. And I'm gonna be pouring a lot of content. So you don't want to think free means that it's not going to be good stuff. And so I'm doing this because I'm passionate about educators and education. And so, but there is a bonus session that you will have to sow a seed. And this bonus session is called the Dream Igniters Guided Strategy Session, which is the Saturday after the challenge ends. And this is for the entrepreneurs, and we're talking about marketing. Because it's one thing to create something to make a difference, it's another thing for the people to know who you are and how to find you. So we're going to talk about creating a marketing stack so that the people you are serving in education can find you and you can find them. And so that session, you will have to sow a seed to get into that, but trust me, it is worth it. And so you don't want to miss this opportunity to be filled up and built up to make change. And so with that, thank you, Cedric, for the opportunity to share, and I'm going to yield the mic.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jamal. Yeah. For anybody who is interested in progression, I think in general, right? You're definitely tap in with Jamal. And I'm in the process of handing out these green beans, I guess as they call them, right? Moderation. And definitely for the people who've definitely tapped in early and being here. And my brother Curtis just joined. I appreciate you. I know you had another room, bro. I appreciate you being here. Um, and I'll continue kind of keeping this going. Probably keep the room open another 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe, up until, that time where I got to definitely run out and go pick up my baby boy and get him home for dinner and everything like that. But yeah, I just appreciate you all being here. This has been an amazing space I didn't anticipate. So again, we are in the Edgy Hustle Club. Feel free to go ahead and follow the club at the top if you'd like, and join us, and also tap into the Edgy Hustle Facebook group. I'll try to pin it again at the top. I just want to make sure that we share everybody's information as we continue to go through, and join the community in terms of the Facebook group, because there's a lot of, again, the keyword being practical information, resources being shared there. So a lot of value has been added here. So I don't know if you haven't got anything from being in this room. I I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because I got a lot. But with that, I'm going to continue on. I see that we have Chelsea on the stage. Welcome. Love to see you here. And MSW, that has usually something to do with, is that mental health?
Yes, a
That'll be
master's in social work.
perfect. Okay, yeah, yeah. I got to be sure because like you're important. Let's just say that. Like,
Oh, thank you.
especially with everything that's happening right now. So need you for sure. And yeah, definitely in terms of your advocacy and focusing on SEL and all the work that you're doing, we would like to hear from you. And yeah, if you have a link or any information I can pull from your bio, I'll just go ahead and add it at the top so we can know exactly where and how to tap in with you. But without further ado, Chelsea, it's on you.
Thank you. So my name is Chelsea Elliott, and I am a macro social worker, so more of the non-clinical side of social work, and a mom of two and a wife. And I have struggled with my mental health since I was a really little kid. And when I had my children, I decided that the number one thing that was going to be my focus for them was their emotional intelligence. And so I created this card game called the EQ Kids Crew, and it helps teach kids about their emotions based on the emotion wheel. It has kid-friendly definitions on there, and they get to do really fun activities to learn about that emotion and go more in depth with it, role playing and identifying it in their bodies and all kinds of fun things that they get to do with those emotions. And so I know that this is, a real big buzzword right now, SEL, social emotional learning, but it's something that I have been passionate about since I've been an adult because of how I grew up and understanding how important it is for kids to be able to speak up for themselves and to understand how they're feeling and identify those feelings within themselves and within others, within other people as well. Yes, and so this was inspired by my oldest daughter. She wants me to talk about her. She is 5, and her name is Natalie. And so I also have 2 books. The first one's called Natalie the Monster Slayer. Hi, Olivia. The first one's called Natalie the Monster Slayer, and it focuses on all the things that I do are SEO based, but it focuses on being brave, being courageous. So, you're scared, but you're still being brave. And then the second one is called Natalie's Not So Fun Play Date, and that book focuses on anger. And both of them have really fun activities. They're very interactive books and stories so that the kids can really get into it and reenact it themselves. And in the back, it has in the back it has additional resources so that the adults can kind of take the conversation further than just the story. And like Syed said, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but my children's books, quote unquote, are really for the adults because we're the ones that need to know this stuff more than they do so that we can model these things for them, model self-regulation, understanding our emotions, talking about our emotions, getting the support and help that we need, practicing self-care. They need to see us do all that stuff so that they know how to do it themselves and for themselves, having healthy relationships, disagreeing with people, feeling angry. All of these things are healthy and totally fine. They just need to see it done in a healthy way. And it starts with us. So all the things that I do are cutesy for kids, but they're really for the grown-ups. But again, my card game is called the EQ Kids Crew. My company is SomoCom Lab, and it stands for Social and Emotional Communication Lab. I also have some trainings for parents, educators, customer service professionals, and I'm having some come out for teens, just around a framework on emotionally intelligent communication, so that we can communicate with our children in a more effective way for them to learn more about themselves and really take in what they're learning instead of us just punishing them. Um, so yeah, that's me. I could talk about this stuff all day because I do this all day. And I have a 1-year-old and she is already crossing her arms to let me know that she's upset instead of just throwing things. So really excited to to see how these two grow up and um, learn more about their emotions. But the program so far, the EQ Kids School, has gone internationally, so I've had a lot of success with a lot of programs and parents and children with disabilities, and it's just been a fantastic journey so far. So if you have any questions, please visit my website, check it out, send me a message. It's all me, so I'll respond to your messages. But thank you so much for this space, Cedric. I truly appreciate it.
For sure, thank you. Yeah, and shout out to your baby in the background. I'm familiar.
Always,
I'm familiar with that.
always.
I'm, yeah. I mean, at least she folds her arms. My son, uh, my son's a character. Let's just say that he's an interesting person. He's probably my favorite person in the world, though. I love him to death. well, let me rephrase that. I love him to life, right? But yeah, thank you for sharing, and I appreciate definitely what you're doing in terms of creating content that's not only going to be aligned directly to the kind of the pillars that we want for our children in terms of growth, but really emphasizing that this is for adults, right? Because trust me, I need support, so I might have to tap in and get that card game myself and get myself together because my son, he is something else. But I love it, and working from home, being here on a regular basis is so much of a blessing. So for all the parents out there, shout out to you. And yeah, let's keep it going and sharing information for our community, for our youth. And of course, I got my brother Curtis up on the stage. He's amazing educator as well, and supports in career development. I've actually purchased one of his products, which is a workbook that focuses on supporting you in kind of building your brand, your career brand as a professional. And yeah, you know, without without saying too much and sharing all the insights, it's worth it. I believe it was maybe $10, and when you want to talk about the exchange of value, right? Paying a dollar amount and receiving a multiple of that in information, insight, resource. That's what we're talking about. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let my brother go ahead and introduce himself and talk about what you got going on. Curtis, what's happening, bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. Shout outs to Cedric, y'all. Give this brother a follow. Follow this club, y'all. Edgy Hustle. Follow these amazing mods. And definitely collab and connect, y'all. Seriously. So, really shout outs to my brother, man. He's building an amazing movement here for educators and edupreneurs and like minded professionals. So, definitely tap into to this resource. And y'all, I'm super happy to be here. Happy Friday, y'all. My name is Curtis Cox. I'm the founder and CEO of Curtis Careers LLC. And basically, like Cedric just mentioned, I create career and professional development content for college students, professionals, and even entrepreneurs and executive leaders, right? And he mentioned, one of my resources called The True You is a career branding and interviewing guide. If you need help in mastering job interviews, if you need help in pitching, right, to professionals, right, how to really formulate a solid elevator pitch, right? At networking events, interviews, professional connections, right? Conferences, events, resources like that. You definitely want to tap into this workbook. This ebook is going to really help you build a solid brand, but more importantly, it's going to help you become a storyteller professionally, right? That's really important. Like when you go on those business functions, those professional settings, you want to be a great storyteller. You want to captivate people about your life and about your profession and your career journey. So this ebook is going to give you the tools to do that. I just recently launched my second ebook slash workbook called the 369 Track. Now, this resource is for folks when you get that new job, right? We all have been there, right? We've all gotten new jobs, new opportunities. What was that first year like for you, right? What was that first year like? And what's interesting about that question, y'all, is that a lot of us we kind of wing it that first year, right? We're just learning as we go. We're just trying to figure things out. But this resource is going to give you the tools on how to have a successful first year at that new job. So if you know folks who are like transitioning, they're looking for a new job, and once they get that new job, they're not really sure what to do, point them to this resource, y'all, the 369 Track. It breaks down your first year on a quarterly level, like every the first 3 months, what are you supposed to do? And then the 6 month mark and then the 9 month mark. And it's going to really break down the strategies on how do you network with your other colleagues? How do you build solid relationships with leadership, right? During that first year. These are important things you got to do, right? What are those employee resource groups, right? How do you get tapped into that, right? This workbook is going to break it down for you. So I just launched it 2 weeks ago. It's a great resource for folks that are like really trying to have a successful first year at the new job. If you're a new employee, definitely get this resource. If you know someone that is a new employee, point them to this resource. Visit my website, curtiscareers.com. Click the tab content, and you'll be able to get those workbooks right then and there. So again, curtiscareers.com, click the tab content, and you'll be able to download that resource. Right, very cost effective resources. There's other content there available. Tap into that. But yeah, Cedric, man, thank you so much for allowing me to speak, and great room as always, man. Appreciate being here, and hope y'all having a great Friday.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Curtis. Yeah, and yeah, I posted Curtis's link at the top. Definitely tap in with him. Like I said, any type of progression, and we're talking about professionally. Even we even have conversations about like relationships and stuff like that. Being husbands and fathers and things like that as well. So he's definitely a great brother to tap in with. And if you look at my PTR, just so you know, I wasn't lying about supporting his resource. Is actually the cover for the ebook, The True You, that I purchased from Curtis, and I went through it, and I just thought it was amazing. And what I found to be really promising is that there's a lot of potential for teachable moments for young adults and also youth, right? In terms of their kind of career progression too. Like before they even get into a career, like we got to learn how to, really disseminate this information earlier so that it's not necessarily a thing where, I get the job and now what? Or I got the interview and now what? Right? We got to prepare people prior to that, right? So think about that for our youth. And even for us, right? I don't I don't know what I don't know, right? And that's where I lean on other people. So hopefully and you'll be willing to share the information with me, right? We can do a trade off. Hopefully I got some information for you, a resource, and we can swap, right? And that would be great. So I appreciate you, Curtis, for everything that you're doing, all the resources and information that you share as well. But yeah, probably gonna close out here pretty soon. Coming up on 5 p.m. my time. I'm on the East Coast in Myrtle Beach, and it was a beautiful day today, but now it's about to rain, so that's not great. But again, everybody, thank you all for being here. This is the Edgy Hustle Club. Feel free to tap in the greenhouse at the top, follow the club, follow everybody on the stage, especially the moderators who have been here and kind of tapped in as early as possible when the room started. So thank you all for being here, and everybody that came up and shared information and resources. This has been focusing on educational content. So thinking about folks that create things, experiences, just different information and opportunities for educators, but also for our youth as well. And with that being said, I just want everybody to go ahead and take a quick moment to look at each other, people next to you. Make sure you follow them, because I think if people are in this room and they've been here long enough, and they're kind of hanging out, I think that that says something about where their head is at. So I appreciate you all being here for sure. Does anybody else? I'm gonna share a couple more pieces of information on my end, but before I do that, does anybody else on the stage want to say anything? And then anybody in the audience that didn't get to speak, feel free to come up. We're gonna close out probably in the next 7 minutes or so. So if you want to talk, please come up and just share. And then with that, I'll add some more resources at the top, drop a couple more links, and we'll close out. But I got my brother Philip up on the stage. Amazing work, especially when we talk about technology and influencing and supporting our youth in their development and understanding how it works. But I'll let him speak a little bit more directly to his work and what he's got going on. Philip, thanks for being here, man.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. And Deborah, thanks so much for being part of this room. Whenever you're in the room, I know it's a place to be. And so, for those of you who don't know me, as you see in my bio, I have spent 32 years in STEM computer science education, started as a high school physics teacher 32 years ago. So, I am that old. And so now I am the principal investigator on a National Science Foundation project called CS for All, Computer Science for All. And it is just that. It is about broadening participation for Black and Hispanic youth with disabilities, in our case, to have access to computer science. As we know, those kids are overrepresented in special education and underrepresented in STEM and computer science. So I have lived that reality for 32 years. And so it is time for us to really focus on changing that for our youth. And so the link that I shared for today is from the Computer Science Teachers Association. I am one of the founding members of the steering committee of the Black Affinity Group of the Computer Science Teachers Association, CSTA, and most recently we held a session on Black excellence in computer science with just about any and every resource imaginable to inspire, motivate, increase the intention to persist, help develop a sense of belonging and identity for Black students in computer science. And so I hope that list was long enough of ways for you to consider that resource and share it with as many educators as you know so that educators also can develop a sense that our youth can do computer science and become creators of technology. Because that is what I've seen for so long that many times we expose our kids to technology and it's really just using but not creating. And so we have a lot of work to do in that area. In my current project, we're focused on designing artificial intelligence voice enabled chatbots using IBM Watson to solve social justice problems. And so teaching our kids how to use IBM Watson to design those voice-enabled chatbots, they're learning how to code and also learning that they too can create solutions for problems that matter to them. And after all my years, that is what I think our kids need, and that is what I hope for uh, every day. And I thank you so much, Cedric, for focusing on Black History Month. And if you could share that link to that uh, document from the Computer Science Teachers Association on Black excellence in computer science, I would appreciate it.
Phil,
And I thank you all so much.
Philip, I was having some issues with the document. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I could get it back up here. For some reason, it wasn't pinning whenever I was trying. Let me try one more time. And we will continue on here. It worked. Perfect. Um,
Yep, that's it.
all right, perfect. So yeah, definitely tapping with Philip, and
and
yeah, this sounds
oh,
amazing. I need to save this for myself
and if I
for
just
later.
add on one of those slides,
Yes.
you'll see image of 10 Black computer science educators, including myself, who are the founding members of the Black Affinity Group of the Computer Science Teachers Association. And so, if not for us, taking a step forward to say that in computer science, Black educators matter, Black students matter, and we are going to create this affinity group to make it known. And also on one of those slides is a CS hero, Mr. Delmore Wilson at Miami Springs High School, who I recommended as a CS hero, and he was highlighted as part of the CSTA event and shared on social media. A longtime Black computer science educator there in Miami, who too many times we overlook in education, but we do need to do a better job of recognizing those who are making a way for our kids. And so I know I'm preaching to the audience, but I hope you accept that from, as I said, 32-year educator of STEM and computer science. Thank you so much.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's crazy, based on how young you look in your picture, that you've been teaching for 32 years. That's that's crazy. So shout out to you for that, first and foremost. And yeah, definitely. Excuse me. Everybody tap in with Philip, and yeah, check out the link at the top. Because computer science is definitely somewhere that we should be not, I won't say pushing, but highlighting, right, for our youth, especially considering the world that we're going into with all of the technological, advancements and developments, and basically the huge gaps that we have in the job market, and even just the opportunity for growing and building things for themselves, right? But we need these capacities and we need this education and information. So we have it, right? Tap in with it. So thank you, Philip, for sure. And with that, I did go ahead and turn off the hand raising. I'm getting ready to make my way um, on out. But with that, I don't want to forget that we have my sister Shalandra on stage, and I really want to hear what she has to share and to offer. And I see autism and ADHD advocate, and I really want to hear from you, most definitely. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Shalandra, it's on you. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Um, my name is Shalandra Gurley. I am the founder of Autism Glows. I'm a passionate educator for over 10 years. So my reason for starting Autism Glows is to empower parents by building their confidence with practical tools. And you mentioned about being, practical. So I wanted to make sure that they are equipped with practical skills and strategies for living a balanced life. And so how do they do that? And so we do that by acing it together. That's advocating, connecting, and empowering. I truly believe that when parents are equipped with valuable resources, they can be the support system that their kid needs. And so also tapping into setting, connecting with educators, being able to set them up for success, because not all educators uh, take special education courses or know how to handle kids with challenges with executive functioning. And so my son was diagnosed both with autism and ADHD, and I am his biggest advocate. I want to make sure that he is in an environment where it's conducive for him to be able to grow and learn and be able to show his true uniqueness of himself. And so I created Autism Glows. It's all about building our confidence, as I stated. On the 21st of this month, I will be having a 5-day balance challenge, which is free for all. You do not have to have a child that is diagnosed with autism or ADHD. This is about parents being able to connect with their kids and being able to, I want to just shout out Dr. Sheila. We had a meeting earlier, but just being able to identify your child love language, being able to identify how you're able to connect with your kids. And so I'm having that 5-day balance challenge the week of the 21st. And on that Friday, we're going to end with a celebration, because I'm a big advocate for celebrating the small and the big. And so we're going to celebrate on that Friday. And then so definitely look and join me on Instagram and Facebook. I will be putting a link in my bio, if not the end of the day, first thing tomorrow, where you will be able to see that information in my bio, where you're able to connect with me. But I wanted to make sure that I provide a safe haven for our parents to be able to be able to vent, be able to share, be able to cry, but also be empowered and be equipped with practical skills that's going to be to help you to help your child. And so that's all I have to say. And thank you.
Most definitely. I thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Good
Um,
work.
Syed, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate her and good work. I appreciate the
Oh,
work you're up to.
Thank you.
most definitely. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I think this is something I haven't actually mentioned or said out loud on this platform is that um, one of my nephews actually has autism. So yeah, it's been interesting just learning, you know what I mean, and continuing to grow there in conversations with his mom, and then just thinking about what his progress and experience, within school and just life has been, because there's a lot of different facets when you get into talking about different experiences, right? Because it's not just one one kind of basis thing. in terms of like, autism or anything like that, right? It's multifaceted. Again, it's pretty deep. There's a lot of layers. So I appreciate you, Shalandra, for, offering your expertise, number one, and sharing insights for others, and building. And again, if anybody here has not tapped in, and I'll add the Facebook group at the top when we close out here. But if you haven't, one thing I want to share and uplift for the Facebook group, and sometimes people people are kind of concerned and worried about being able to share things. If it's something beneficial directly to the community, I don't have any issue with folks sharing within that Facebook group. And again, the Facebook group is over 900 people. So if you have things that you're doing, information, resources, and you submit a post or something within that group, and it's going to be helpful, or it's something that the folks in the community can use, please do that. 'Cause a lot of times I think we have the idea, and people who maybe administrators of groups or something like that, they are closed off to people sharing their resources, information. I don't do that. I do have my own promotions and stuff that I add, but I let everybody offer whatever it is that they have going on, because you never know who needs what you got. So please, if you haven't, let me go ahead and drop it at the top again, because I know we're getting ready to close out very soon here. For everybody that's been here, thank you for chiming in. It's always amazing holding the space, and that I can talk to people and have some type of widespread impact, I think, in the education world. So with that being said, I added the Edgy Hustle Facebook group back at the top. If you haven't joined, please do. It doesn't cost you anything to join the group, and you might actually find some really solid benefit within it. I share a lot of links as far as like job opportunities and just upcoming events, so on and so forth. So even if you're having rooms on Clubhouse that are aligned to the principles of what we're doing, you can share those things, and it's just all about support and helping people. That's the end of the at the end of the day, that's what it's focused on. And just to share, I do have 3 goals that I outlined this year, at the beginning of this year, for Edu Hustle. The first goal is to help someone make $100. The second goal is to help someone make $1,000. Third goal is to help someone land a new job. I'm going to hit those goals. It's going to happen probably multiple times. And with that kind of being the focal point, and it's just an idea of serving others, and I welcome you all into the community. And clearly, as educators, we're giving people, we always support and look out for other people, but I think sometimes we have to take the initiative, and the stance that we should support ourselves too, right? And offer what we have and stand on it. So that's why I open up this space to have people come in, share your content, share what you're doing, and hopefully get some support. And if that means sales for you, great. I wish you all $1,000,000. I really do. And with that being said, does anybody on the stage have anything else before we go ahead and close out, and go about our weekend? Feel free, if you have something, you can just flash your mic. Okay, I saw Zenith first, and then Deborah. So let's go in that order,
Yeah,
please.
I just want to say thank you for providing this space and sharing everyone's work and contribution and their resources here. I just joined the Facebook group that you mentioned. I'm glad to be, learning from others and sharing anything that I find valuable. I just want to say I appreciate you. Thank you.